After serving 4 years with Governor Sigelman in Montgomery, 4 years of my life that made a great difference in my life, um, you must have solid infrastructure. And I work with the North Alabama Council of Governments, and part of their job is to do planning for small towns, cities, and our state. I've also worked with DOT. I work with the Scenic Byways Commission. I'm on their board. Folks, through that, there is ways that if you could get your delegation, especially your county commissioners. I remember when we first started the industrial park out on 222, they were talking about four laning from that industrial park right back into Good Hope, which then would direct all the traffic coming right back through Good Hope, which is already a bottleneck. And I suggested to the county commissioners at that time that we need to do an off-ramp off of 222 so that we can save lives. What did we do? We put up a red light. So if you're coming from Good Hope toward Cullman, you come around the curve, that light liable to change on you right as you get to it. The point is, folks, you got to have effective leaders in each position that is viable to the well-being and the welfare of the people in this county. And they got to be able to go to Montgomery, walk to the DOT office and says, look, we need these funds to do this. What do we need to do? Whether you have to go through ADECA, whether you have to go through USDA to get the funds to do it, that's what you got to do. But the delegation has got to work together. And we can get funds to do what we need to have done for our county and for our area.
Concerning roads, that's probably my greatest issue other than education and newspapers, because probably most of you do not know. My dad, as well as myself, my dad worked for an asphalt company until yet last year, which he worked 42 years, and I worked 8 years at a private asphalt company, so I know quite a bit about building roads, the cost of the roads, and what needs to be done. I think the main thing which we need to get together with the towns and the mayors and the councils of each town is planning. We don't need to start putting up buildings everywhere and then determine where the road should be after that. We need to get together and have a planning committee in each viable district or viable town and determine what do you want for a plan for a future in your town, and we will build the roads before you start building the buildings. Like there is problems over Good Hope now. There's going to be major problems there because now we have buildings there where the road should be. The widening of the road is going to be very impossible to be done because there's buildings there. We need to not reinvent the wheel, but we need to look at the planning of the towns and put the big companies outside the towns where no one can see them, and put beautiful buildings next to the roads to allow people to be welcomed in, especially with like Wallace State College, how beautiful the buildings are, because that is going to be a viable thing for Cullman County in the near future. In fact, I hope and pray that we get this robot building to come to Wallace State, and we're going to need major roads to come into that, because I think there's going to be a great future for Cullman County and Hanceville.
Well, I haven't had the opportunity to work with a lot of companies, or volunteer with lots of different companies. However, I do think that I'm a quick study and very knowledgeable in lots of different areas, and I can see where a lot of study has been done, and we are very fortunate to have a delegation, and Mr. Grantland, who we are fortunate to have here with us today, and Mr. Oden, our representative with District 9, or you 9 and Oden is 10, is 11, are great representatives from this area, and they are very good to work with, and I can see that it would be great to work with them on these projects, and I can see that that would be great to work with them on these projects, and I would welcome their input. First of all, that would be the number one thing. Number two, you would gather all the information from economic development, and then you would go from there to your commission. I mean, you would start your study, and you would gain knowledge, and go from there. I think you would gain your knowledge, strengthen your base, and go from there. I think that would be your number one goal, is to gain your knowledge and go to the people who have already done their study on those topics. That would be the first thing that you would do, and work with your delegation. Thank you for your time.